Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, osia dem yopo.
Paul Adom-Otchere fingers Manasseh Azure for deceiving Mahama. Paul Adom-Otchere is a journalist. Oh yes. Yes. A freelance journalist maybe. He's somebody a lot of Ghanaians respect. He's a member of the NPP. He took an office when the NPP was in power. An appointment. Oh yes. And he became the boss of the airport, blah, 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 blah. We all remember the Christmas tree issues and all that. This is Paul Adom-Otchere. He was fingered by the office of the special prosecutor and taken into custody for a couple of days. And then he came out and the controversy continued to linger on. Right now, he's a full-fledged communicator of the NPP. He made it clear that there would never be a day that he would criticize Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo because he was so close to him, and if there was anything he needed clarification about, he was just a stone's throw from Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. This is Paul Adom-Otchere. Many people have said that since he came out point blank to be a communicator of his party and even accept an appointment from the NPP, he had lost a lot of respect in the eyes of right-thinking Ghanaians who believe that a journalist must be somewhat neutral. My brother, my sister, but Paul Adom-Otchere certainly has his own, ideas and ideologies. This is Paul Adom-Otchere. Now, Paul Adom-Otchere on his Good Evening Ghana show has been criticizing Manasseh Azure. Manasseh Azure is this man here. He is an award-winning investigative journalist. He's one of the most trusted journalists we have in Ghana. Manasseh Azure is a loyal citizen of the Republic of Ghana. He's a man who will do everything possible to shame all the criminals and thieves in Ghana if he has the opportunity. And time after time, we see him do that. This is Manasseh. He just finished his master's degree in America. That is a big pedigree. My brother, my sister, Paul Adom-Otchere took him on. Now, what was it all about? Paul Adom-Otchere is employed by the owner of Zoomlion Limited. Zoomlion Limited, my brother, my sister, is owned by a man called Siao. Jospon Group of Companies. And he owns Metro TV. He owns some other radio stations and other businesses. He's a wealthy man. Very wealthy man. My brother, my sister, I have never met Jospon, but he has told people time and again in the past that one of the journalists that he truly respects is Black Rasta. I respect him as well. I love it when people work hard to make their money rather than stealing. But Manasseh Azure made us understand otherwise. That Jospon, owned by Siao, was not that clean. Jospon was stealing from workers of Zoomlion. This is Siao. He would take so much money and give only a little bit of it to his workers at Zoomlion, indirectly treating them as slaves. Manasseh went into a deep investigation. We remember when he came out with his documentary called Stealing from the Assemblies, Robbing the Assemblies, my brother, my sister. And that brought a sharp focus on the activities of Zoomlion, owned by Siao, whose photograph we saw a few seconds ago. The matter ended up in court. From that time, there were allegations of Manasseh trying to take some bribe from Jospon, and because it didn't happen, he was very angry and decided to be retributive. Decided to talk against Zoomlion. Manasseh himself comes from a very poor background, where his father was a night watchman. In fact, from his night watchman employment, he paid the fees of all his children and raised them up in honesty and decency and not stealing. Manasseh respects hard work, not stealing. From when he fingered Siao as somebody stealing from Zoomlion workers, he has never been a friend of Paul Adom-Otchere. Paul has always seen him as a crook. He told me point blank when we had an interview on his show that I think Manasseh is a good guy, but because people know he's a good guy, they are using him to fight their own personal battles. Paul was on his Good Evening Ghana show, and he said some really terrible things about Manasseh. What brought about the whole thing? Now there is a man called Ibrahim Ahmed. He's the minister for chieftaincy and religious affairs, whatever that is called. My brother, my sister, at the same time, he's the honorable member of parliament for Banda. And Honorable Ibrahim Ahmed was quoted as having said that since the Zoomlion contract was cancelled by the president because of the works of Manasseh Azure, the flooding situation in Accra has become worse. There was also an article in My Joy Online, yes, on their platform, alluding to that allegation that since Zoomlion was asked out of the waste fight in the Ghanaian government contracts, the flooding situation increased and became worse. Manasseh didn't take kindly to that. He rebutted quickly and said, don't let us blackmail Ghanaians with a flood. Zoomlion was stealing from the people of Ghana. Zoomlion was not honest with Ghanaians. Zoomlion inflated prices of procured materials to steal from the people of Ghana. Have we been able to purge Zoomlion of that? Don't let us be in a hurry to bring Zoomlion back to continue to steal from us. Well, Paul Adom-Otchere heard this. His boss is Siao of Zoomlion fame, and he fired back. Watch this.
Let's get to the situation of the problem. I like the president's photograph as well. I think that somebody has misled the president. So, and the Ghana map and all that, please get that ready. We all know that flooding has been going on. We all also know that this particular one has been very severe. We are also finding out that the severity of this particular flooding has something to do with the government's decision. And I like the professor on City TV, Channel 1 TV, who spoke and said that, look, it's a government's problem. And I will show you other videos as well. Okay, so let's get to the problem, and then I'll come to the reactions a bit soon. Yes, this is the one. Professor Gordon says, Accra flooding, a governance failure, not just a rainfall problem. Professor Gordon is not a politician. Professor Gordon is not an MPP guy. Professor Gordon is not an NDC guy. He's just a professor, and he understands these things. And he says that, look, it is a government failure. It's not just a rainfall problem. It's a government failure. And if it's a government failure, why is it a government failure? Waste management reforms key to ending Accra flooding. That's by ISE. Institute of Statistical Research at Legon, are saying that waste management reforms are key to ending the flooding. What do they mean by waste management reforms? Now, we also know that part of the problem is that the contract for the environmental services provision, which has been delivered by Zoomlion to all the district assemblies, has been terminated. And it was terminated because civil society, led by Fourth Estate and Manasseh Azure, said that Zoomlion is a thief and he has stolen money. And so, in addition to catching him, which they have not been, nobody has catched him. In addition to catching him, they should also terminate all the Zoomlion contracts. So, as I found out yesterday, about 15,000 street sweepers have been withdrawn. 15,000, more than that, but conservative figures. 15,000 street sweepers have been withdrawn because the Zoomlion contract has been terminated by YEA because Manasseh Azure said that they should terminate the contract. So the president got very bad advice from his civil society people. Tonight, those civil society actors that advised the president wrongly have blood on their hands. The people who have died, their blood is on the hands of those civil society actors who advised the president of Ghana that you should terminate the environmental services provision and let other companies participate. Get me the Ghana map. Let me explain to people what is happening here. Very good. Thank you. I like this. So this is the Ghana map here, viewers. Okay. Now, there are about 276 districts. Please confirm the figure. It's around that. There are about 277 districts. Okay. What has happened is that over the last 10 years, and I like to put as a separate video here. What has happened is that over the last 10 years, there has been progress, including the first President Mahama government. There had been progress in securing a certain way in which environmental services provision will be delivered to local assemblies in a manner that supports modernity, in a manner that supports translation of refuse into something more positive, in a manner that supports job creation, in a manner that supports a better and a higher standard of living for Ghanaians. Over the last 10 years, this conversation has been going on with Dr. Joseph Sian-Ajapon, the chairman of Zoomlion, in the middle of it. Other key stakeholders have been in the middle of it. All the international organizations, JICA from Japan, Danida from Denmark, the Hungarian government, they have all been involved in this matter. The conversations came to a conclusion during the Akufo-Addo era, and I'll tell you what happened. So, over the last 10 years, all these regions you see here have districts spread over them. We're looking for the map of the MMDC. I think we don't have that. We're going to get that. We need a map of, and if there's no map, like the local government should create it. A Ghana map of MMDCs, all the MMDCs. We should have that map. So that's easy for us as journalists to work on it, isn't it? So this is the Ghana map, and district assemblies are spread all over from top to bottom. 261 is the figure that I'm hearing. 261 is the number of districts. So each district has a fund or a responsibility for sanitation. That's one of their primary responsibilities. So those who are older, much older than us, who are 50, they call something town council. I don't know about it, but my mother talks about it, and my aunties at town council will come and catch you. And when we were young, they harass us. Hey, if you do that, town council will come and catch you. They used to call it tankas. You know, when you go to the village, when I go to Kwamo for vacation, they say tankas is coming. I remember that. I didn't know what it was. I just excited. When they say tankas, I'm running away. If I have a bicycle near, I paddle it and I run faster because tankas was coming. But tankas was a slang for town council. Now, the town council had responsibility for sanitation. And we grew up to understand that they were working under the British colonial authority, and they were quite strict. And usually the headmaster or the teachers in the community were the town council sort of policemen, and they will police it, and they will whip you when you fall foul of sanitation rules, as it were. So the district assemblies have the responsibility for all of these places, yeah, for the delivery of sanitation and environmental services provision. Over the last 10 years, we have been upgrading in sanitation because, you see, viewers, environmental services provision is not just collecting bola. It's a chain, and it begins from the farm. So the environmental, did you have it for me? Yes, something like that. Great. So it starts from here, the produce. This is the sanitation chain. So when we say sanitation, we don't mean I set up Okongolo boys, East Legon boys, and then they go and collect bola. That's not what it is. Please tell Manasseh to tune in and let's educate ourselves on how the thing works. It's not simple like that. That East Legon boys, we form some organization, then we are doing Jama, then we go and collect bola. Where are we going to throw it? I'll come to that. It doesn't work like that. It's a composite and comprehensive environmental services provision drill. Okay, it's not simple.
I am glad that Paul Adom-Otchere, my very good brethren and friend, is talking about waste management as not just limited to collecting bola. My brother, my sister, he took on Manasseh Azure, his nemesis. Manasseh has been responsible single-handedly, undoubtedly, for the cancellation of the Zoomlion contract. And from what I hear from Manasseh Azure, he has a strong point. He has nothing personal against Dr. Joseph Siao Ejapon. I don't see any vindictiveness, no retribution, no bitterness. I only see a man who loves his country more than he loves himself. Hi, if Zoomlion's contract continues to be there, Manasseh is not going to be paid 2 cedis because the contract is there. If the contract is cancelled, Manasseh is not going to earn 2 cedis because the contract has been cancelled through his work. But he's looking at posterity. He's looking at what would happen to Ghana. If Zoomlion was taking so much money and giving just a bit of it to the workers, they were working like slaves. I have a problem with that. If Zoomlion would inflate cost of materials and charge Ghana for that, I have a problem. It doesn't matter how efficient Zoomlion is, as long as there's a scintilla of stealing, I have a problem. It doesn't matter how much Zoomlion loves me. Neither does it matter how much Zoomlion is a philanthropist. I have a problem that you can't rob Peter to pay Paul. That is what Manasseh is doing. They are in court. What has become of the issue? Zoomlion took Manasseh to court. What are the judges saying? Manasseh could have sat down quietly and probably gone back door to be paid a lot of money, and he will keep quiet, and Ghana will continue to sink like the legendary Titanic. But no, he says, I can't do this. This is what I have found. I want to speak with Jospond. This is what I found. What do you have to say? My brother, my sister, and everybody is going after one man. For me, it is becoming a war between the powerful and the powerless. Is it because Zoomlion is wealthy? Is it because we don't love our country? This is what we are waiting to understand properly. And if in the wisdom of the president, he decides that, you know what, with wise counsel, I think the Zoomlion contract must rest for the time being. And Paul comes out to say that Manasseh misled the president. I am hurt. You know why? Because Paul is trying to impugn that the president doesn't have his own wisdom. All the council of elders don't have their own wisdom. It took Manasseh to just say a word, and the president and all his counselors decided to swallow that hook, line, and sinker. And like the zombies that they are, they have gone to take action without thinking. That is what Paul is trying to imply. And I think that is sad. This president has been a president before. He went into opposition and came back and became president. Ghanaians trusted him so much and gave him another mandate to come and rule them. It has never happened in the history of this country. Ghanaians believe in the intellect and wisdom of this guy here called JDM. For it to take a watchman's son to come and talk to him, somebody who does not even own a proper car, somebody who is nowhere near wealth in the Ghanaian ideology of wealth, to talk to the president. I think that it took more than just wealth, more than just a watchman's son. It took something else. Manasseh has always made the papers available. This is my research. If you have a stronger discussion or opinion, bring it forward. My brother, my sister, I am surprised the courts up to now have not been able to come up with a straight decision concerning Zoomlion. It's not only in Ghana we have Zoomlion. I hear we have Zoomlion also in Liberia. I would like to support every Ghanaian business, not the businesses that suck our blood like vampires. And from what I read from Manasseh, I can't support Zoomlion. I cannot support Zoomlion. From what I have seen Manasseh do and say about Zoomlion. Hey, I prefer dying from a flood to sitting down and watching a Ghanaian firm or non-Ghanaian firm stealing from the masses. I am just one person. It is better to fight and make sure that we bring our people up to speed. How many Ghanaian companies have government contracts and they are just thieves? They are stealing. Government contracts simply mean that kickbacks, a lot of stealing, overpricing of commodities and procurements, materials and all that. Is that the Ghana we want? And if one man has decided to talk about it, we should rather praise him and go into it. Because Manasseh didn't come out with this to say it's the final thing. It's in front of the courts. The Ghanaian people are wise. They can also look at what Manasseh has said. If Zoomlion's contract is cancelled, you can't blame Manasseh for that. Blame the whole of Ghana. All of us looked at it and said, no, this is terrible. Why blame Manasseh? Is it for personal interest or for political interest? I don't get it. Look at the facts Manasseh brought about the thievery Zoomlion was involved in. I am happy this is happening. But again, I'll conclude on this. Paul was good enough to say that waste management is not only about collecting bola. He was going to take you through a flow chart and talk about it intellectually. Let's bring it down to the level of the people. My brother, my sister, waste management is all about the attitude. Finished. No long talk. People wait for the rain to fall, and fools as they are, they pour bola into the drainage. People build on waterways. Is that not attitude now? Is that not witchcraft? People use political power to even build on wetlands. Look at what is happening, my brother. Waterways we built because somebody gave us a certain dubious license. And we will bring land gas there to kill government officials who come to tell them, hey, what you are doing is wrong. All the Lamborghinis, all the Lexuses that we buy, they get flooded out because of our stupid attitudes. And we blame that on Manasseh. Are we stupid? Hi, 99% of all the flood in Ghana has nothing to do with anything scientific. It is attitudinal foolishness of the Ghanaian. My brother, my sister. Hey, when it rains, they say, oh, we have built on waterways. Why? Is that not attitudinal? Look at what is happening. The president was in an helicopter so that he would look at the whole of Accra and see exactly. The president all of a sudden has become a meteo officer, meteorological department. He's telling us the inches of rain falling right now. He knows everything about the barometer. He knows everything about rain now, all because of what is happening. In fact, it is insulting to say that the president listened to only Manasseh and decided to cancel the Zoomlion contract. Then that means Manasseh is truly powerful. Please, let us not continue running after sentiments, personal vendetta, chasing symptoms when we should be dealing with a disease. If we had good attitudes, we might not even need Zoomlion too much. It's good what Zoomlion is doing, but I'm against the thievery if there's anything like that. My brother, my sister, if we decide to change our attitudes like Kwame Nkrumah told us, there will never be a flood in this country unless we go back to the days of Noah. If it's in the days of Noah, I hear. But as it is right now, that we were promised with a rainbow that nothing like that would happen again, then there will never be a flood in this country. It's 100% attitude now. 100% attitude now. Building in waterways, building in wetlands, and pouring rubbish in drainage systems is human caused. This has nothing to do with politics. And again, patriotism. If you love your nation, you will never go out there and cheat and steal from your country. Politicians lack patriotism, they steal. Citizens are not patriotic, they steal from the nation. How many of us are like Manasseh? How many of us are like Black Rasta? How many of us are like the president of Ghana? All of us want to steal so we can get rich. Because in our country, a great man is judged by how much wealth he has, not how much brains. So to Paul Adom-Otchere, bring him here. Come here. Paul Adom-Otchere, you know I have a lot of respect for you. And the respect is reciprocal. I love you. But I think that you are still dwelling on sour grapes. Sour grapes. Manasseh has been able to come out with facts and figures. Until otherwise proven. We have never heard Zoomlion come out to debunk all these things. To say, you know what? It's a lie. We don't go for 800 Ghana on the head of everyone and pay them 20 pesos. Or we don't go for 10 million on the head of every Zoomlion worker and pay them 2 pesos. We need to see this. The workers are there. We talk to them. We know how much we pay them. The poorest workers in Ghana are Zoomlion workers. Yet some of them work very hard. True or false? Let's be honest. We want to make Zoomlion better. We must not blackmail the country because a flood came. We must be responsible enough to go after the disease rather than the symptoms. Right now we are fighting symptoms. Oh, Zoomlion was doing the work. How was Zoomlion doing the work? How much money was involved? How much stealing took place? No. If every businessman has to pay kickbacks, they would inflate material cost and the contract will become this. Some politicians don't care as long as they get their kickbacks. We don't want a Ghana like that. It is time for every Ghanaian to behave like the bus stop boys. It is time for every Ghanaian to take it upon himself that it is his duty to make sure the water flows in front of his house. When we have that at the back of our minds, we won't fold our hands and wait for Zoomlion to come and tell us to clean our backyard. Attitudinal problem is the black pot, aka Kukushonum. Bring Manasseh here. Manasseh Azure, the bongo boy, he calls himself. Listen, my brother, I don't need to tell you this. People are going to fight you. See? When you become so patriotic, people see you like a wild animal. What kind of a human being is this? In a country where we have indigenous proverbs that say, Abane Juma onswa ocho. indigenous proverb that tells you government work, don't carry it on your head, drag it on the floor. That is why some businessmen are dragging government contracts on the floor into the gutters and trying to blackmail people for the wrongs that they do. So, my brother, stand firm. Not too many people would support you now, but generations yet to come will give you your flowers. You might not be there to receive those flowers, but generations will benefit from your work. And I believe that that is your focus. Dash is the black pot, aka Kukushunamo. And here we speak truth to power.
I'm in the PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.